Hello, and welcome to this Supply Chain Management Review podcast. My name is Michael Levins, and I'm Group Editorial Director for Peerless Media's Supply Chain Group, which of course includes Supply Chain Management Review magazine. I'll be your moderator for today's episode that we titled Procurement Power: How to Close Your ESG Gap and Fast, right? And this episode is sponsored today by Amazon Business. Now, with the rise in importance of environmental, social, and governance criteria, ESG has made its way back into the corporate boardroom, and that's a good thing. And there's no doubt that procurement has had a more significant role than ever as more companies strive to comply with new critical goals to not only stay competitive, but to truly differentiate their organization in today's environment. Indeed, today's business leaders must move faster to close the gap on the company's ESG goals, or risk losing talent, customers, shareholders, and ultimately market share. Now, I think we're all realizing that the key to enabling and accelerating ESG initiatives lies within the procurement function. Now, and today I'm joined by Antoine Griffin. Antoine is General Manager for Socially Responsible Purchasing at Amazon Business. And we're going to discuss the elevated role procurement now plays in ESG. And also, he's going to help us better understand how your ESG strategy can give your supply chain operation a competitive edge. So welcome, Antoine. We really appreciate your time today.
Thanks for having me this morning, Michael. Pleasure to be here.
Excellent. Okay, so let's look at the last 3 years, Antoine. The last 3 years have been quite a ride for everyone involved in supply chain management. So, from your perspective, how would you define the current environment facing global supply chain operations from where you sit today?
I think it'd be fair to say it's a challenge, but the good news is that a challenge that leaders across our entire economy are willing to step up and take a leading role on. And the good news is that with respect to sustainability, and that umbrella really carries three main pillars: economic viability, environmental protection, and social equality. And it's great that both the private and the public sectors here in the United States are advancing sustainability at a great clip, particularly compared to other developing and developed nations. So in the context of our organization, one of the biggest challenges is scaling your operation to those goals. And we find that because of the outsized role procurement plays in most corporations and large enterprises operations, it's a great place to start with respect to trying to impact ESG.
Yeah, absolutely. So, considering all that, Antoine, let's talk about how this environment, some of the impacts, and how has it impacted this current environment? How has it impacted the way people go about procurement operations today? How would you say that's changed, or what's sort of a high level look at procurement today?
Yeah, well, I think procurement starts with the supply chain, right? And we are still overcoming many of the shocks borne about by the pandemic.
Yep.
But what we're also realizing is it's also on the back end here created a heck of an opportunity for us to do a couple of things. Like, one, make those supply chains more resilient.
Yep.
And also better connect them to our local economies and to help us meet some of our economic and social equality goals as well as our environmental impact ones. So I just think that some of the disruptions that were born about by the supply chain, we're seeing those manifest itself in many ways, from cost of labor, cost of products, inflation, things of that nature. Look, there's nothing like a potential crisis to impact the way we work. And the way we strategize. And we're seeing the same thing with procurement, both in the public and the private sector, across all industries, quite frankly.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Great point. Sometimes it takes a crisis to force everybody to rethink how they're doing their business, and especially doing their procurement. And I think that's one of the silver linings coming out of the last couple of years, for sure. Now let's switch the focus a little bit more on your team there at Amazon Business. Now, you guys have been working closely with procurement leaders during these tough and challenging times. From what you're hearing and seeing during this time, what do you believe are now some of the biggest challenges facing procurement professionals due to what all these changes, and how are you guys working with those procurement professionals to make that a little bit smoother?
Interestingly, the challenges with procurement track really closely to the challenges with standing up what we call social responsible purchasing program
Mm-hmm.
or
Mm-hmm.
ESG program. It's
Yep.
identifying quality sellers and products, right? And
Yep.
maintaining those relationships,
Yep.
integrating the acquisition of those responsible sourcing and into everyday purchasing.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then here's the other thing that I think is part of why Amazon and other tech businesses in our advanced economy are helping to make impact, is because of our ability to help aggregate, automate, and make visible your purchase and spending data. Like this
Yep.
was the type of data capture that normally only happened quarterly or annually in anticipation of financial reporting, or in the case of public companies, earnings reports, right?
Right. Right.
So we've really been able to help our customers digitize their purchasing to help them focus and meet their mission. And whether that was on increased visibility, better financial stewardship, or strategic sourcing goals. What we've seen is our customers reacting to and responding to, uh, like the Amazon, customer obsessed approach
Mm-hmm.
to what we're calling smart buying as well. So,
Sure.
in just the same manner, we've seen consumers across the globe, um, sort of move toward um, e-commerce as a means
Mm-hmm.
of making their household, I don't
Right.
want to call them procurement, but household
Sure.
purchasing more efficient, more transparent, and provide greater visibility. We're bringing those same advanced technology tools to bear to help our enterprise customers do the same.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. Hey, Angelo, can you share sort of a short example of maybe a procurement operation that has leveraged Amazon Business to improve or close that ESG gap, and maybe help us understand that too by, how do you help them close that gap?
Yeah, I mean, the federal government is a great example of a large, and one of them, probably the world's largest entity, uh,
Mm-hmm.
leveraging our technology to help meet their goals.
Yeah.
Again, this is a expansive operation. They need products, landed in every zip code on the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even at sea, like
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to optimizing for everyday savings, curated selection, um, you know, versatile shipping and delivery options, as well as figuring out the various tax exemption issues or protocols in different operating environments and
Mm-hmm.
regions. We've been working with the General Services Administration, the USGSA, on what we call the Commercial Platforms Initiative,
Mm-hmm.
where we're enabling government buyers across the planet to leverage our platform to meet
Mm-hmm.
their goals. And
Mm-hmm.
our social responsible purchasing program has three main pillars.
Mm-hmm.
We can help you buy sustainable. So that's
Mm-hmm.
helping you buy climate pledge friendly, USDA organic, or other types of certified sustainable or
Mm-hmm.
climate friendly products. So we can do it from the product perspective. We also help them buy from small, local, and diverse owned companies. What
Mm-hmm.
most people don't realize is over half of the products sold in our online marketplace are actually sourced from third party sellers. So we're
Right.
helping them find and locate products and source from small and diverse sellers and even sellers that are
Sure.
local to their operations. And as I mentioned, local, like so
Right.
whether
Right.
you want to source in your local community at the jurisdictional level,
Mm-hmm.
at the county level, or at the state level, we are bringing technology to bear to help these organizations with what has heretofore now you're required the standing up of expansive procurement operations, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like from buyers to contracting officers, and all manner of different facilities, credit card spend, purchase card, invoice,
Right.
electronic invoicing. These are all the types of technologies that we're deploying to help one of our largest customers, the
Mm-hmm.
U.S. federal government, leverage what for the user feels like an Amazon commercial experience, retail
Right.
experience, uh, at the enterprise level, and
Sure.
we've seen great results, and we're
Sure.
helping them to scale their impact in a way that that they could not have done by buying from one supplier at a time.
Right, right, right. And the visibility that Amazon offers, the federal government is just extraordinary, right? I mean, those are sources and folks they would have never had a chance to even find or see if it had not been for Amazon being able to give them that visibility into those new sources.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely. One of the things that if I were to talk about small businesses, right? Like one of
right.
the challenges of scaling a small business and accelerating growth is your ability to do business development.
Yeah,
And what we know is these mom and pops or sisters and brother operations,
sure.
right? Like they
Yeah.
rely on personal relationships to make that first deal, to make that first
Mm-hmm.
sale.
Mm-hmm.
They've got to figure out how to get in someone's face, right? By going
Yeah.
to
Right.
procurement fairs, matchmaking
Yep.
events, things of that nature. But here, we are making those products offered by the small and diverse businesses visible to our global customer base across the
Mm-hmm.
planet, and allowing those customers to search for products that either have a sustainability certification or
Yep.
sourced from companies that have unique ownership traits like women-owned businesses, veteran-owned businesses, service-disabled veteran-owned businesses. And being able to do it in one place is what the end user, the buyer, really appreciates, because they would have
Right.
had to engage multiple times, in some
Absolutely.
instances hundreds or thousands of times, and then have to go out with specific product announcements, RFPs, things of that nature, just to
Mm-hmm.
procure a singular product for their organization.
Right.
But
Right.
we're putting that type of availability of product and selection and discoverability of small businesses at their fingertips.
Yep, that's terrific. Terrific. Hey, let's, in a couple of minutes we have left, Antoine,
Mhm.
let's roll it all up and talk about sort of the ultimate benefits, right, that Amazon Business is bringing to the procurement operation. You just named a few of them. Is there maybe one or two of those ultimate benefits that you're bringing, Amazon Business is bringing to a procurement operation, that really kind of rings to mind, or you would like to have sort of resonate with our listeners today?
I think it's ultimately visibility
Yeah.
and
Yeah, that's not. Yeah,
compliance, right? Like
there's
I
no
think,
question. That's mind blowing when you think about it, right? What is capable and what's offered, on that platform.
yep, compliance, spend analysis, and
Hmm.
selection are sort
Hmm.
of the three things that we can help take off the table for these organizations.
Yep.
We can help them reveal patterns in their spending. We can
Yep.
help them identify opportunities to improve efficiency, transparency, and reduce costs, and
Yep.
also build a roadmap for more powerful and strategic purchasing by leveraging our network of third-party suppliers, sellers. Be they small businesses, minority women-owned businesses, veteran-owned sellers, as well as by purchasing products that help them meet their sustainability goals by shopping the hundreds of thousands of products with sustainability
Yep.
certification. So,
Yep.
we are helping them meet both their economic development, and equity goals,
Yep.
and their sustainability goals, sitting right there at their laptop shopping on Amazon Business.
Sure. 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 So, Antoine, we have about a minute left, so we do need to wrap up in today's episode. But for any
Mhm.
operation that's interested in starting this journey, right, this journey to close the ESG gap and working with Amazon Business, what are those first few steps that our listeners have to take to start getting involved and start making this happen and closing this gap?
I mean, they can always visit us at amazonbusiness.com. Any search bar will get you to us. And then, and it's really the same shopping experience.
Okay.
Administrators can set up their Amazon business account with Business Prime, not unlike the Consumer Prime benefit, which
Hmm.
which gives you access to the versatile shipping options, as
Hmm.
well as some of the business analytics and approvals functions that will help organizations gain a better visibility over their spend, um, more tools for analytic decision making, and creating a multi-user account and purchasing group so that you can set spend thresholds, set up your budgets, um, and make more insightful purchasing decisions using
Yep.
our custom dashboards and reports. So I just encourage folks to go to Amazon Business to start that journey for their organizations, or to talk to their local customer associate to figure out how they can take, if they're already using Amazon Business, which many organizations are, like
Right.
how to leverage more of our tools to go even deeper in making sure that they're exercising smart buying,
Right.
because the platform in and of itself is going to be efficient, right? And
Awesome.
it's
Yep.
going to open you up to visibility and many more product offerings, but the visibility and
Hmm.
analytic dashboards and developing a plan and talking about what your actual goals are.
Right.
We
Right.
can do a lot more collectively if we're having a conversation and we know what an organization's goals are. We can set up specific policies or protocols to help you meet those goals, those unique
Yep.
goals,
Yep.
organization to
So
organization.
a few simple steps, really, when you boil it all down. That's terrific. Well, we're up against the clock. Antoine Griffin, General Manager for Socially Responsible Purchasing and Amazon Business. Sir, terrific job in joining us in a session today, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Michael. Look forward to talking to you again soon.
Absolutely, Antoine, and thank you to today's sponsor, Amazon Business. So I hope everybody has a terrific day. Thanks again for joining us today.